Hi, today's video will be a bit satirical. Of course, to prove my technical superiority, we'll be going over a few international platforms that implement the Google APIs. The Place Details API and the Autocomplete API. These APIs are often the go-to APIs to implement location search features that allow the user to enter their location. That could be a street or a region or province, and get back relevant results in their area based on coordinates. That's a bit like if I were to search for restaurants in Belgium or in certain province in Google Maps, for example. A few months ago, in the middle of May, I encountered a few problems with this implementation while researching how these international platforms implemented their solution. Because I was building something similar, I was also building a location search feature that allowed users to find relevant content in their area. Here's some proof. I was texting someone I know while I was researching the implementations, that I stumbled upon issues with these international platforms. This is in my native language, a very informal message starting with LOL. And I'm kind of explaining the issue I encountered in these texts. And then I went to see if the problem occurred on multiple platforms or if it was a specific error on one of these platforms. And I found at least 3 other platforms that had this error. The first one was takeaway.com, then Pauwshake and Petbacker. Pauwshake and Petbacker are international platforms for pet services. So you could hire dog walkers and all those things. So you want to find, as a user, you want to find dog walkers in your area. Takeaway.com is a bit similar, but for restaurants. So you can find restaurants in your area and order, and then they will deliver your food. I thought I also saw the problem in Airbnb, but I don't have proof of that. And if I went to check recently, I can't find the problem anymore with Airbnb. That would have made a magnificent YouTube thumbnail and but unfortunately Airbnb seems to have fixed it. By this time Pauwshake seems to have fixed it as well, but I have this proof screenshotted right here. The top picture is only showing like 5 pet sitters in a province, which is a bit odd. That's not what you would expect, and it's probably not really beneficial for the pet sitters themselves. So yeah, we're kind of losing. I think it's an issue that potentially we're losing revenue because of it. On the other hand, it might be the case that it's not a priority use case for them. Maybe Pauwshake and Petbacker and Takeaway.com prefer the user to enter a specific street and house number, wherefore their implementation works decently, I would say. But once you enter a province, the results are not at all what you expect, and potentially resulting in less revenue for. I can see why this wouldn't be a priority, for example, for takeaway.com, since you don't really, if you find restaurants in a province, most of them probably won't be delivering to your door since you're too far away. So they prefer a municipality or street address, things like that. There is, of course, an option with these Google APIs to restrict by type. So you could say, I implement a restriction by street address or municipality, or such filters are possible. Why they didn't do it, I don't know. This is an old screenshot you see here from PowShake that is illustrating the issue. That was the same screenshot you saw before, but zoomed in a very small in the text message. So what is going on here? What is the problem? Of course, I mentioned the problem. You would expect more results than you're getting. But why is this happening? That is because the Google API, let's hop over to that. This is the Google Geocode API. I opened this in Postman. You can do this in your browser as well. I did this in Postman so I can hide my API key. That's the only reason. And if you then, first off, I got this link by first off using the autocomplete API from Google, typing in the province name, which is West Flanders, West Vlaanderen in my native language. And then you get these results. You get the formatted address, just saying West Flanders, Belgium. Then you get the geometry, the bounds, northeast, southwest. Maybe you by now already know what the problem is. Then you get the location. Maybe now you know what the problem is. Then you get the viewport, which is a part of the solution, the viewport. The bounds could be as well, but I noticed the bounds are not already given. For a province, the bounds are given. For a street address, the bounds aren't given, because I have some proof here. I did the same thing for a street address with a house number that only has a location and a viewport. So that's why I'm using the viewport, since that's always a given as part of the solution. So keep in mind these the location coordinates, latitude, longitude. You don't have to memorize them. I'm just saying, just know that that's a given. And then the viewport is also a given, but with multiple coordinates, with two coordinates, the northeast one and the southwest one. Keep that in mind. I now hopped over to Google Maps. I typed in West Flanders, West Vlaanderen, and I could zoom in a little. You can see the red line. That's like the viewport or the bounds of West Flanders. Those are. If I were to zoom in all the way, I don't know if I moved, but we're basically going to the center of the province of West Flanders, which could be in a less crowded area. But that's basically the location coordinates you were given by the Google API. And the viewport or the bounds are more like the red line that you can see here. Although, if you remember correctly, what we got from for the bounds and the viewport was only two coordinates. not 4, not 20, just 2. We got the northeast, that would be on the right top corner, and we got the southwest, that would be in the left bottom corner. Maybe by now you know what's going wrong with the platforms. Before I'm going to tell you the solution, we'll just quickly go over to these platforms and see that it's actually a problem with them. So, takeaway.com, I entered West Flanders, and even in the query string at the top, in the URL, you see Lichtervelde. Lichtervelde is coincidentally somewhere. I just zoomed in, I think. It's over here. Lichtervelde. So it's pretty close to the center of West Flanders, like the geographical center. So it's likely takeaway.com used the location coordinates. So the location coordinates, which would be just 1 point in the geographical center of West Flanders, and they might have added a radius of a few kilometers, resulting in only 6 restaurants when querying the whole province. 6 restaurants in the whole province, that's not at all what you'd expect. You'd expect way more. And it's not like these restaurants are delivering all over the province. It's just a technical error, if I'm not mistaken. It does say opening soon. Maybe it has something to do with the few results, but I think it's a technical error. Let's hop over to another platform that illustrates this problem. Slightly different, slightly better, but not the solution. This platform is called Petbacker. It's an international pet sitting platform. Of course, Belgium is a very tiny country. Maybe they didn't really worry about such edge cases. What you see now is very few results, but coincidentally aligning on the line of the coordinates we saw before. The northeast would be here, to the southwest would be on the bottom left. So what did they do? I assume what they did is they used those coordinates, but they only used those 2 points, which just form a line diagonally through the province and only show the results along that line. Yeah, which is still not that great. You would expect the whole results for the whole province. Unfortunately, it's just that. So it's slightly better, but it's not great. Also potentially losing out on revenue, if that is a priority in their use case requirements, technical requirements. Then I opened Airbnb. Not that they have the problem, at least not anymore. But what I wanted to show on Airbnb is you see this black dot. And that black dot illustrates the... seems a bit off. Before we were more to the left. The black dot I assumed represented the geographical center of West Flanders, at least coming from Google, or maybe they calculated it on another way. They seem to have a pretty decent strategy of recalculating when a user zooms in or out. They're going to probably recalculate the results in the area, so it seems decent. Then PowShake, I showed a screenshot before that illustrated the problem. Now their platform seems to be updated. Also the colors and the UI and the UX is a bit different compared to the screenshot from the middle of May, so a few months ago. This was the screenshot from then. You see it's there's different colors, different icons. And there you can see the results are coincidentally all around Lichtervelde, so all around that, only around that location, those location coordinates. That's the geographical center of the province West Flanders, which is not what you would expect if you type in a entire province. So this is their new website. I hid the actual pet sitters so you don't see the lovely ladies and their addresses or their regions. Yeah, so now they seem to have more results for the province West Flanders. There does seem to be some weird things going on when I scroll. They recalculate, but now that you have results in here, and if I go a little to the right, suddenly there's like holes in there in the areas. So it's a bit, it has more results, but it's not that, yeah, still not that great. You would, that's weird if my cursor is in here, that you're only getting these. So there seems to be some issues still. But yeah, at least they spotted the issue and tried to improve it. Try to resolve it, I mean. So what is the solution? Or a potential solution at least. Either you could still be using the location coordinates and just have a larger radius. I wouldn't know how you would get the radius correct. By zooming in and out, they probably make it smaller or larger, that radius. That's a decent strategy, I would think, but I implemented it differently. Since you're getting these viewport coordinates, which were only two coordinates, northeast and southwest, which forms a diagonal line across the province. Maybe you've guessed it by now. You also need the northwest and the southeast coordinates, at least those coordinates, to have a better area to search in. So how can you accomplish this? Apparently by some mathematical trick, by mirroring, I couldn't pronounce that, by mirroring the coordinates you're getting from Google, those would result then into the northwest and the southeast coordinates. And then you draw first you draw some kind of linear ring, and then you fill it up, making it a polygon or a rectangle, whatever you want to call it. So you would, which is, I would say, pretty good. It's possible that if you then use that rectangle and a small radius, that you're still gonna get some extra results along the lines. So you're getting more results than you expected, probably. And of course, to prove my technical superiority, this is one of my projects. I entered West Flanders, and you see results all over the province, and also a few like Eeklo and probably Alter, which and maybe Maldegem, which are a bit outside of the border of the province. Let's take a look. Yeah, well, I clicked someone. No, it doesn't matter. I clicked on one just outside of the border. So how I solved it, I assume more people have solved it in a similar way, is to calculate the missing coordinates by using the given coordinates, that northeast southwest that was given by the Google API. And then you construct some kind of polygon, or a rectangle. And when the user then uses your location search feature, you query the database. I query the database, my code queries the database for all the results within that given shape, within that given rectangle or polygon, or within a distance of that shape is also okay for me, within a 5 kilometer radius or something like that. And it could always also work the other way around. It's possible that the result is larger, for example, than the location query the user gave us. So then maybe you have to do it the other way around, like see if the result contains the search query, or the first way was to see if the search query contains the result. Yeah, you think you get what the solution, a potential solution would be. This is a good example of ROI problem solving, as you kind of analyze the features or processes of a certain company, and you see, oh, there's a technical error or a problem in the process or something you could do more efficiently or resolve. And then you could address these companies saying like, oh, I think this technical issue or this process issue results in losing X amount of dollars in revenue monthly, or whatever how you package it is up to you. And then you can tell them, yeah, just pay me like $5,000 and I will make sure you don't miss out on $30,000 each month by solving this issue. This video will likely not reach takeaway.com, Petbacker, or other major platforms that have this issue, so maybe there's still some potential for you to address them. So now you could think I'm a genius for solving this, which I am not. I did do something else, is something I can do very well, is state the issue in Google, find an answer in Stack Overflow, spend many more hours to get it to work. Trial and error programming at its finest. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more about these Google API implementations. You can do a lot of cool things by leveraging these. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. I'm trying to reach at least 500 subscribers so I can send messages to my subscriber base to ask you guys what you want to see or what do you think about certain topics and be more interactive with you. Hope you enjoyed the video, learned a thing or two. I did take quite long, like I always do, for something relatively simple and that could be explained relatively simple and short. See you in the next video.